as far as the violence or the conflict, or even some depicting as this as the civil war, now this is ridiculous. This is not a religious war. This is not a majority against a minority. This is a simple misunderstanding, which we have strong reasons to believe it is started by a propaganda of unforeseen forces.
So you're saying 10 to 40,000 people were not killed?
People have been killed. That is over 70%. That is some verifiable data that we have for now. But in numbers in tens of thousands, no, I do not think so. And casualties has been, attained from both sides. Both sides. I mean, both. I'm saying Burmese and the so-called Rohingya ethnicities. Yes, both sides. As far as what we are hoping is that there is a new commission now, investigative commission consisting of 27 members. They include democratic parties such as Shan, National League for Democracy, Arakan, National League for Democracy, even the famous human rights activist Kozagana, the comedian, the actor, he is on board. The 88 student generation, Mr. Kukoji, he's on board. So what I would like for internationally,
so
Canada,
you're saying this group represents all people?
This group is so far the most reliable, reputable, combination of people from every aspect. There are even representatives from the Council of Muslim people in Myanmar. They are involved in it, and they have from the August 10th. The national state media, the Mirror newspaper, the Council for the National Islamists in Burma, they have posted a statement saying that, in their own words, saying that most of the news spread to the international community has been fabricated or otherwise exaggerated. So we will need to verify the facts before we jump to conclusions. That is very scary. Otherwise, we would be the one who are, propagating this issue if we do not base on facts.
So you're saying that the numbers are grossly
not
exaggerated?
Just the number, the issue itself.
The issue itself?
Yes. Everything about this issue is not certain yet. So we will need to wait for this commission for its statement, and then we might have some idea where to move forward from this.
Naomi, you've been back a number of times. What are your thoughts? Do you think that there's an exaggeration?
I haven't been in Arakan since this current violence. I know that intermittently under the totalitarian government that started after the coup in 1962, 50 years of this, there were all sorts of acts perpetrated against not just the Rohingya but others of the ethnicities in Burma, anybody who raised their head, basically. The Rohingya were particularly badly treated because they were some of them were shoved to Bangladesh, not back to Bangladesh.
Just to go back, is it natural for, under a totalitarian government for misinformation to happen like this?
Well, yes, and right now everything is up in the air as the country is changing. So it's just very hard to know. But what's not useful is for sort of a mudslinging. What's useful is to try and move forward. One of the things that has to happen before things can move forward in any kind of reasonable way is for the people who are from Burma, born in Burma, have full citizenship rights. That's got to be step one. And whether or not anybody's being killed, that has to happen.
But that's not the case.
And right now, that's not happening. There's just this sort of this simmering thing going on, and I don't know the facts, and I don't know who knows the facts. But it's clearly simmering. There's clearly being people killed, and it's clearly a major problem for the country, and particularly for the people of Arakan, but for the whole country because it's destabilizing, and destabilizing at a time when the country is trying to move forward. So it's that there's violence anywhere in a fragile state puts it at risk and puts everyone at risk. But the Rohingya are on the front line in terms of being at risk. That's all I can say at the moment.
You have something to say? Looks like you're ready to.
Yes, I agree with my countryman, doctor. that in terms that it was exaggerated. Yes, I don't know in what way he's saying it, but in my way of saying, the government exaggerated it. I can tell you one, Muzo, his name is Muzo, he is one of the big guy in the president's office. He's a Facebook. He said Bengalis are coming. They don't call us. Even educated our guest doctor. He has a doctorate degree. He still say so-called Rohingya. That is an insult to me. Really. My name is Anwar. You should call me Anwar. You cannot call me Mango. I didn't supposed to be called Mango. I was not supposed to be called Mango. My community's name is Rohingya. Doesn't matter you approve it or you disapprove it. Rohingya is Rohingya. If somebody call me Rohingya, I remain Rohingya. Somebody call me Bangladeshi intruders, I remain Rohingya. Somebody call me Indian intruders, I remain Rohingya because I am a Rohingya. So anyway, this Muzo from the president's office, he's in his Facebook, he said, these Bengali so-called, Bengali intruders, Bengali terrorists are coming to attack our country. Let's get ready to kill them. That's how these things instigated.
But that's a classic technique
Exactly.
of a
So
totalitarian government to make you
Yes,
get
I
everybody
still
to
agree.
band
I
against
still agree with him fully that things were exaggerated. But the government is saying we exaggerated. We did not exaggerate it. They did, and they said just started with a little point. That one woman, Arakan young woman, was killed.
I'm sorry, but if you're referring the killing of one woman is being little, then I would have to agree with you because I'm a doctor. Every life is sacred.
Of course. No.
So
I'm not saying it's too little. I'm saying it started by one incident where a woman was killed and raped by supposedly 3 people who happen to be Muslims. But it is not proven. That is the start. Then quickly they arrest these 3 people, hang 2. One of them was suicided. And then what happened? This is the justice done in Burma. What happened to the 10 people pilgrimage they killed out of the bus in front of these thousands and hundreds of authorities? What happened? What happened to the killing of hundreds of thousands? I can tell you in Nazri village in Akyab, Sitwe, we call Akyab, this is the original name. In Akyab, Nazri village has 60,000 houses. I'm not talking about human head counts. I'm talking about houses. Now, sorry.
Houses that were burned. I just want to
yeah,
actually
yes,
interrupt for a second. So, there's all sorts of bad things that happen around the world. We've got conflicts in the Middle East. We've got the Far East going on. We've got, bad things happen everywhere, right? And not every government is like the Canadian government. I think we're very lucky here that we were able to live with a certain level of freedom, with security. We can do what we want. We can walk about and, to an extent, feel free to walk about and not have to worry about killing and rape and curfews and whatnot. But we've got things that go on in other parts of the world, and there are communities here that are affected because it's their families that are being killed and affected. I just want to bring it into Peel and Peel region and actually ask, what do our viewers think? Are you affected at all by what happens around the world? Do you even care? Is this issue affecting you? And maybe if you're not Burmese, it doesn't affect you. And maybe if you are Burmese, then it affects you a great deal. And how do you deal with that? How do you handle, that conflict? And what sort of expectations do we have on our current government to step in and say something? I actually did what any Canadian should do, and whenever there's an issue, you write a letter to your MP. So I wrote a letter to my MP, Cal Seaback, and I asked him about the situation in Burma, and he did offer his condolences to all the victims and families involved, and he said that the Canadian officials met with Burmese officials and urged them to ensure that security forces ensure the safety of all civilians. So the Canadian government did take steps in ensuring that and to facilitate access by humanitarian organizations. It was recognized that Muslim Rohingya residents of Burma face statelessness, and he believes that everyone should have citizenship And there are concerns from the Canadian officials. So, that was a nice letter reply back that I got. We're going to have a break. We're going to come back. We'll continue the conversation. Stay tuned.
The opinions expressed in the following program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect those of Rogers or Rogers TV.
Welcome back to Talk Local. I'm your host, Urs, here. We're talking about the conflict in Burma. Before the break, I was reading the letter by Kyle Seaback, and there was one thing that I didn't read. That is that the response that I got from the MP, Kyle Seaback, was, we are also concerned by reports that asylum seekers attempting to cross the border from Burma to Bangladesh have been turned back, and Canadian officials have raised these concerns with the government of Bangladesh. And they've also urged that Burma has to take several very positive steps towards democratic development, but lasting improvements require peace and reconciliation amongst all groups in Burma. So, I think it's always healthy to contact your government representatives, your MPs and MPPs, whenever there is an issue. The question, I want to say is, should Canada have more of a role? Should Canada be playing more of a role in international conflict, or is the job at home big enough, and we shouldn't really worry too much, or maybe the expectation shouldn't be as much? So that was the Canadian response. I know that there's protests going on, but before we go into that, I want to ask Dr. Tun we were talking during the break.
Prefer to go last on this segment.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll ask Naomi to go first then.
Well, Canada's now opening an embassy in Burma,
in Burma,
in the new capital, Naypyidaw. But we all think of Rangoon as the capital because it's the major city. And we've had an ambassador accredited to Burma, but it was an ambassador located in Bangkok who could go in occasionally. But now there's going to be an embassy opened in Burma. And so maybe there will be opportunity for more on the ground, urging movement forward. But I think that some of the recent stuff has to do with the fact that the Burmese government is not a unified force. There are forces for liberalization, and there are elements in the government, military elements in the government, who don't want the liberalization that's happening now. And so it's those people, it would seem to me, are the ones who are trying to destabilize the government by saying, by creating an urgent sense of attack, or talking about Rohingyas as Bengalis, which is ridiculous. Trying to, because then, okay, everyone clamps down and there's the enemy. Point the finger at the enemy and you don't ask questions about your own government. And that's a classic technique of any government that's trying to keep control of its populace. And so who do you point at? Well, you pick somebody to point at. And we know this through history. We've got very recent examples of it. And this is the latest in those examples. And that's the problem. So how to break that cycle? Well, it's a complicated question, and we don't know all the dynamics going on in the government in Burma, in the army in Burma, that are trying to manipulating people into this kind of fear factor stuff, which is just going to cause more death and destruction. Don't know how to, but people on the ground, and maybe this commission will help, but it really, it's complicated.
So complicated that they can't resolve their own issues?
But you can't say resolve their own issues when you've got people pulling the levers who have guns and are military, and who have media, and you just can't, and who have also inculcated people with attitudes, that are destructive, that tend to say, oh, that guy's the enemy because his eyes are purple, because his hair is straight, because you do any of those things.
Darker skin.
Well, darker, lighter. Really, if you start doing that, you eliminate the possibility of because you turn that person into the enemy or the other, and then how do you even get that person? How do you get people to the table? And